Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm going to go live. Let me do that as well. Hang on. All right. So welcome everyone to the Sign Network. This is John Raymer, and I'm thrilled to have this time with you, dear Patricia. Our guest here in the Love Currency Embassy is Patricia Ann Davis. Anybody who knows me knows that it's not too long before we start talking, before I start quoting Patricia. I've been honored and have learned so much from you, dear. You're a source of inspiration and wisdom and clarity for all of us at a time when the limitations of our worldview have taken us to where we are. And the genius that you bring of a different worldview is a gift for a hungry world looking to find its way out of the darkness that we find ourselves in. So we're thrilled to have you here on the Sign Network. We're going to share this widely. And I want to turn it over to you, allow you to introduce yourself properly, and looking forward to having this time together in the Love Currency Embassy. So welcome, Patricia Ann Davis.
Thank you, John. We also travel in the canoe.
Yes.
So I'm going to give gratitude to Sign Network for sponsoring the Love Currency Embassy. And I want to welcome. This Love Currency Embassy is a sacred circle ceremony for wellness restoration in the context, that means the container, the domain of Dene, the holy peoples, Hojo, meaning the blessed way, spiritual, natural laws that govern us all equally. Remember that we are here to learn how to make decisions for our collective survival, that we may thrive in wellness and abundance. My spiritual family and relatives, Ya'at Eshik Eshidne, and also now introducing myself in the Dene traditional way. My colonial American Indian boarding school name is Patricia Ann Davis Nshia. That's who I'm called. Although that, a Mississippi band of Choctaw, Hachi ni Bashalchin, Kiaani, Edishanella, Biyandane, Biyaja, Nshle. And that is my maternal and paternal clan family lineage. Greetings. Greetings to everyone. What I have said in the Nefazad, the Holy People's language and sacred words, is translated to everything that is good, beautiful, and true for children, for parents, grandparents, for families, and the healing of nations is all that I speak. Thus, I greet you with a warm heart-to-heart hug as we celebrate living the loving way as a way of life, a planetary cosmic reverent revolution in the Dene Azad oral tradition of the Hojoja blessed way of life ceremony in the four directions natural order template. Ba'a, east, balance and living. Ada'a, south, harmony and communication. E'a, peace in the family. Nahokos, north, beauty in the environment. Shabik El, sunwise around the fireplace with love and joy within our hearts and within the heart of our homes. We continue to inspire Martin Luther King's vision of restoring beloved community as a spiritual affirmation of an inclusive reality of the interrelatedness and interconnectedness of all people, valued as humane beings, Lashli, five-finger people. Thus, he inspired us to learn and to teach how to live in peace by being humane in all our decision making through our own self-realization that justice is synonymous with love and solidarity among all races of people and tribes and class groups and nations. We are also participating in the upcoming World Unity Week, June 17th through the 23rd, and into 99 days of peace through unity. All of the speakers will be affirming and speaking for peace through unity. I want to share one of my personal experiences of racism and police violence first. And that is because we have been talking about war and we have been talking about addictions, including the addiction of revenge as equally addictive as the opiates and alcohol and other drugs. And it was Dr. Temmel who did the research on that. So now, when I speak of my own personal experience on racism and police violence, the reason why is that I want to expose that even in my innocence, working for the as an outreach counselor at the Phoenix Indian Center in Phoenix, Arizona. And I had just graduated from the University of Arizona with a bachelor's in developmental psychology, which is clinical child psychology. And I was 36 years old. I had been a homemaker and a stay-at-home mom since I was 18 years old when my son was born. I used to have what I call share hair, parted in the middle and all the way past my waist, share hair. And driving in South Phoenix one day in a car full of my belongings, because I was also in the process of moving, I was stopped by a policeman who told me that my temporary tag was expired. And so I told him that I was in the process of moving and had not received the permanent plates had not been forwarded to me. So he started writing tickets, and he wrote, I don't know how many tickets. He wrote more than one ticket. And one of those tickets was a ticket for this temporary tag. And so I refused to sign it. I said to him, don't I have 10 days? I'm not even moved there. I haven't even moved in. You can see that I'm in the process of moving. And I didn't have a chance to say anymore. This man, big, tall, European American white man, police, and he grabbed me and he grabbed me and he threw me to the pavement. He threw me onto the concrete. And then he, or the asphalt, and then I felt like concrete. He threw me and then he picked me up, he grabbed me and he grabbed my hands and then he banged them, he threw them on the trunk of the car. And then he put handcuffs on me and then he grabbed me and he roughed me up. He opened the car of the back seat and he just threw me in the back seat. And when we got to the station, he put me in one of those boxes. I don't know what they're called, but there's only a window like this where you could see out. Otherwise, you're just completely in a box and there's only room to stand in there. Then I heard him tell somebody, he said that I was in there for a resisting arrest. And so I went through the fingerprinting and the mugshot and all that was so shock and hurt. So I called. I there's lots to say about this being overnight in a jail, and some of it is very humorous and derogatory. But I called Tucson, and my son to tell his dad to please get over there as soon as possible and get me out of this jail. And they showed up. They came, and when I came out of like basement through the stairs up to the street, maybe 2 or 3, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and my son was standing there with his arms folded. And when I got up to the ground level, he said to me, he said, "Mom, don't you know better than to talk back to us, to a policeman?" And I did go to court. I took my brother, who's a Vietnam veteran, with me, and I explained to the judge exactly what happened and what I said. So he refunded the $300 in me. But also to this day, that was like had to be. I graduated in 1982, of June of 1982. That summer, that was my first job in outreach in the streets of Phoenix, Arizona, and so I have pictures. I have pictures to this day of all the bruises on my body from that incident. And he targeted me. I think that he probably couldn't even see the tag on the window. I think he targeted me because I had fair hair and I was in South Side of Phoenix, Arizona. But I lost some jobs. I was being interviewed in my profession of health and human services and behavioral health, and mental health, social services. And in these interviews, of course, asked, "Have you ever been arrested?" And I always said I had to say yes and try to explain. But then I never got those jobs. So I lost jobs over this incident. One of these days, I kept thinking, I want to go there and find out, who is this policeman? What's his name? Where is he? What happened to him? That's a long time ago, but I need to bring closure to for myself, and I'm presenting that to the public, that even in a car, in a brand new car, and being on in South Phoenix and with long hair, I could like running drugs or something like that. That's what I thought of. So I wanted to share that to expose this incident that escaped. This it's not true that I was resisting arrest. He did not even say that he was arresting me. He just very physically abusive and made that up. And so that's what happened. That's the Love Currency Embassy is a safe and supportive place to empty without judgment and punishment and condemnation. And I'm not exempt from anything that I have experienced in my life. So let's together, for all the traumas that we have been through, let's focus on breathing 2 short breaths in our nose and breathing out slowly after those 2 short breaths. And I'll illustrate that. I'll show you. Let's do that 4 times because you'll see and you'll feel, you'll understand that it strengthens the diaphragm below the lungs, and it's an immediate release of trauma. It's an immediate release of stress. And so I'll show you. That's 2 short breaths. That's 1, 2, slowly out the mouth. It's also a good practice to get up in the morning and go outside and face the rising sun and let your eyes not look into the sun, but see the sunlight. So that messages the alchemy and chemistry of the body for us to know that we're in the daytime awakening, and adjust our eyes and then take 2 short breaths and breathe them out. And then we're in a meditative state, begin the planning and action of decision making for the day. And we're in a state of spiritual oneness with Creator within creation. So now we have a video selected. And while we prepare to show you this video, it's by Joanne Shenandoah. And the title of it is, it's a women's songs. So before we do that, let me state the Love Currency Embassy agreements for this sacred circle ceremony for wellness restoration. The medical allopathic is disease management and pain management, but that's not wellness restoration. Wellness restoration, social medicine. That means like food is medicine, water is medicine, music is medicine, laughter is medicine. Talking and emptying is medicine, and so is our communication and relationship that is for peacemaking, the decision making for how to become, communicate and relate in terms of peacemaking rather than enemy creation and warfare. So these are the agreements. There are no secrets. There's no mystery in miracles. And of course, healing is the miracle of healing. The body has a profound ability to heal, given the support, synergistic support, first of correcting one's thinking to tell the body correct information, and then the product and services work synchronistically and synergistically. And there is no healing in enemy creation. There's no healing in blame shifting. This is not about coping. This is not a coping mechanism. The indigenous ceremonial change process that I design and teach is a healing process. And healing does require us to correct our thinking, tell our body correct information about our eternal existence in the Hojo oneness of Creator and within creation simultaneously. No one can be outside of or separate from the natural order laws that govern us all equally. So healing is for everyone, and true healing does require a decision that's out of a what I call inverse thinking into affirmative thinking, and true healing through correction of naming out of balance and identifying the root cause, and then deconstructing that root. John, are you there? Do we have the
We do.
Video selected?
Are you ready?
Yes, this is the late Joanne Shenandoah. And last time we wanted you to hear One World, and the link that we clicked on was the music and not the words, but I selected a different one still from Joanne Shenandoah, and she loved to sing One World. It's a beautiful song, and she always said to her audience, even on the Zoom, sing with me, and we did. And I remember the last time we sang with her One World, but this one is a woman's song.
All right, here we go.
Aguego, Sego Skenangoga, Digaliwakwa, Miungets. My name is Joanne Shenandoah. I am Wolf Clan of the Oneida Nation, the Iroquois Confederacy, the Haudenosaunee people of the Longhouse. As we come together today to celebrate Earth Day, I would like to give thanks to EarthX and to Green Cross for the work they do on behalf of our Mother, the Earth. We are very blessed to continue to have our traditional teachings. Our Mother, the Earth, should have legal standing in the courts, in the Constitution, and around the world. I'd like to tell you today about my mentor, the late Chief Irving Paulus, who said there are 4 simple rules. 1 is to only take from Mother Earth what you need. 2 is to be sure and use everything you take. 3 is always to remember to give thanks. And 4, leave the world in a better place for the upcoming 7 generations. This is a woman's song as we give thanks to all the life givers, such as our Mother, the Earth. When yo way yo, I na yo way, oh howie nay, hey ya. Away na away ho, I na yo way nay, howie nay guy, now we are here. When yo way yo, I na yo way ho, howie nay, hey ya. Away ho, I na yo way nay, howie nay guy, now we are here. When way yo, I na yo way ho, howie nay, hey ya. Away ho, I na yo way nay, howie nay guy, now we are here. When way yo, I na yo way ho, howie nay, hey ya. Away ho, I na yo way nay, howie nay guy, now we are here. Yo ho.
Well, there it is. Very, very simple. Take only what we need, and then reciprocity, give back, and then don't waste, and so on, and leave the world, the earth, the environment better than we found it, cleaner than all of the pollution of what we're doing today. That's really powerful, beautiful, and simple. Do you have any comment or question, or have you even heard of Joanne Shenandoah?
I had not. Beautiful, simple, delicate, powerful.
Okay, well, how is it, what does it take? Beautiful song, what does it take? A poem, what does it take? Motivate, to inspire people to do these simple things. Mainly, make the decision for the greatest good for the greatest number of people. How is it that's common sense, and yet we're somehow addicted to everything else that doesn't work, and yet we're valuing and cherishing and perpetuating. And so I'm grateful that we have this time, so that hopefully the people who are listening could hear from an the indigenous lens, keeping in mind that I'm teaching from a ceremonial language that is not, it's oral tradition, and it's not in the Western body of knowledge and that's published. So when we have been diagnosing and describing the root cause of war and addiction on our past videos, do you know that we're going into 2 years now of Love Currency Embassy? I am amazed myself. And we had invited people to be present to ask questions. So in their place, John, you're gonna be like the big major news shows where there's only 2 people and one is the interviewer and the other person is basically sort of having a dialogue. And so is there anything that you want to say about the upcoming events, and also your part in it and what you're learning, or even what you would like to tell this audience before I go on?
Yeah. Well, it's an honor and a joy to share your wisdom here, Patricia. And it's a very challenging time. It's hopefully so disruptive that it's actually going to get us to pause and rethink. If we don't change our direction, we're going to wind up where we're headed. And it doesn't make sense that we would continue to behave in a way that is not in our own best interest. You would think that there is a moral reasoning, some kind of rational choice would be made. So it's clear that we've forgotten. And I don't know what it's going to take to cause that disruption. It looks, you would think, with the environmental crisis that we're facing, the instability politically around the world, the social inequity that exists, we have so many good enough excuses to stop. But yet it does seem to be like we're addicted, and we don't know what it's going to take to reach that bottom, to kind of say, hey, wait a minute. We can't keep treating each other and ourselves this way. That's why your knowledge has been like so precious. When I tell people that, hey, in our culture, we don't have a way to empty.
That's right.
Resonate with that. They realize that we're stuck looking good, saving face, being right. These patterns that we were born into are keeping us apart from ourselves as well as each other, apart from being authentic. You say authenticity grants authority. That has been so wise so many times when we were together. You could see the difference between people who are able to be at peace with themselves and understanding these challenges and be able to, like you say, coping is not the same as healing. And at best we cope, and we don't see the real path to the kind of healing that's needed now. And you say healing is learning, that kind of safe place for our waking up and growing up is so urgently needed. This is such an important stream of knowledge that you bring. It's treasure knowledge.
It is treasure knowledge, and I'm going to review what the indigenous ceremonial change process is and why we must discern. Discern means to understand the consequence. Prophecy is always that we can predict that if we don't follow, making a decision for the greatest good for the greatest number of people, call that justice, and justice is synonymous with love. So we're serving in the world accordingly. And then how is it there's another group of people that says to us, when they observe us doing this, they say to us accusingly and blame shifting and saying, you're doing an injustice to us. So that's the addiction to control and greed that that we're witnessing. So the purpose of Love Currency Embassy is to learn how to reframe. Reframe means our own conscience built into us, not something we have to overcome and something that will happen in the future, but the self-realization that we're existing in this holiness and wholeness. We're born into it. And reframe is just, oh, I forgot who I am. Creator, I forgot who I am. Make room for me. Make room for me. I'm correcting myself. That's how we need to think, not in terms of, we don't even have word for saying I'm sorry, because to say I am is only to affirm that we're precious child of creator within creation, that we're intelligent, that we're spiritual, that we're kind and generous and loving and caring and compassionate, empathetic. That I am is only, it only makes sense in the affirmative. I'm speaking affirmatively, the I am of this, our spark of divinity within us, and our inherent divinity, which is not granted by politics or human organizations. We're born in it. Where nobody can take away our power. We cannot give away our power, but we can deny it. So that's reframe, a definition of reframe. Our thinking out of Eurocentric, dualistic, inverse thinking that is characterized by win-lose. And guess what? We're witnessing and seeing that win-lose is no win, and it's destructive and death-producing. Decisions and outcomes that we're witnessing in the global crisis today. It's a mega global crisis. So reframe is designing a space, a place to reframe our thinking into, to remember and reawaken to the natural order laws of affirmative thinking that I just gave examples of, characterized by win-win, constructive, life-affirming decision for those collective survival and thriving, co-creative solutions and outcomes that we design by group consensus. And so that eliminates the power over, and with brute force and deception, we're eliminating the need for that, for the denial of oneness. And then the deception is the lies that we tell to ourselves, to others, and then the deviousness, the conning and scheming to win, and then the defiance. So this review here is because the students that I have had since 2000 and 2001, 2002, arriving in Seattle in 2002, I have original students since then. And so to my students, I tell them, look for the patterns. These are the patterns, the two I described to you. Those are patterns to look for across race, across age, or across culture, across language, across any land, anywhere on this Mother Earth. Look for the patterns, because understanding the patterns, then we will not get caught up automatically in being complicit and complacent. Meaning complicit means that we just go automatically and we're part of the problem. Right. And then complacent means, oh well, it doesn't apply to me, so I don't have to do anything. And I'm here to say, let's do our part. I'm doing my part. And I've done my part for the best I can, and still now, like into 76 years that I'm following what I know and learned at a very young age. And of course, I was derailed. And of course, I experienced wrong decision and consequence. But we all, intentionally devise how we're going to destroy ourselves and others. When I say we, I'm about
Yeah.
our holistic sacred self. And nobody isn't born into a deficient self-image. We're all born in the holiness and wholeness, and the holiness with H and wholeness with W. And I'm calling that holistic. I can even call it holographic holistic in English to convey that it's complete and that we're not lacking and we're not deficient, and we make the decisions accordingly for ourselves and others. This review here, I'm going to go through quickly because I want to get to the illustrations.
Well, Patricia, I just
Yeah,
want
sure.
to interrupt because it's so important what you're saying. I want to make sure that,
Yes, this is dialogue here.
yeah, so this just start with that one thought about making decisions for the greatest good for the greatest number of people. And one of the things I learned, because I am one of those students that you met in Seattle many years ago, that I hadn't really thought about how we think about things. You have to be willing to pause for a moment in your own life and say, well, where do these ideas come from? And because we were born into a conversation that was going on before we were born. And in my world, the idea of making a decision that's rooted in the greatest good for the greatest number of people, that almost goes against what I was taught as a kid growing up in America.
Totally.
The game here is look out for number one. You got to be concerned about me. Greed is good. This is the discourse that so many of us have been brought up in. Even the people who we've seen as leaders. It seems like every decision that gets made is how's that going to help me? The radical idea that I would actually let go of my pattern to start to think about it. Well, let's make that decision so that we're coming up with a resolution that's for the greatest good for the greatest number of people. That is a radical reframe, that alone. And, oh, that's socialism. That's communism. That's what they would tell me. That way of thinking, that's un-American.
Yeah.
Boy. So just anybody else who's here with us now, let's just tell the truth about that. This way of thinking about things, we're born into that. That was going on before we were born. And we are brought into a culture that has its patterns, like you're saying. And there's so many examples of this that your wisdom carries that I just don't want to miss the chance to just say, look at that little one as an example, and how our fear, how locked in we are to this way of being that has brought us to a point in which we're all co-opting each other to participate in our own demise, thinking that that's a virtue, that if you're not looking out for yourself, then you're putting yourself at risk. You could be vulnerable. Look out, there's all these fears and the boogeymen and everything. I have to only care about me. Who would I be if I really lived my life in service to each other? God, pray for us.
Yes. Prayer is real and prayer is powerful. And I call what I'm doing, I call it affirmative prayer rather than bargaining.
Right.
God, if you'll do this for me, since you granted me, you granted me this whatever that I got by conquest by the empire folly. Bless me some more with more. So for these trite things, for every winner, there's a loser, and that we put all this time, money, and energy and resource to recruiting the next, not only ourselves, but the next generation of youth into participating in our own collective demise, because we value, we cherish, and we perpetuate how we do one up and one down, which is what I call acculturation, one up and one down. And then we, when we do that, then we're going to become violent,
Mm.
because we have the justification for creating enemy. So I mentioned earlier about the canoe illustration behind you, the magic canoe. I'm going to call it the miracle canoe, making a distinction, because if anybody in that canoe is breaking their paddle and throwing temper tantrum and saying, well, I'm too tired, I'm hungry, I want to go somewhere else, I don't want to go with these people, I don't like them, I don't like you, and then start rocking the boat, and hear that the boat is filling up with water and it's going to sink, even though that person is sitting in the boat themselves. That's a really graphic, straightforward illustration of they have, in order to travel and reach the destination, is to collaborate and cooperate for everyone's survival. So that is very clear. Yes and no. There's consequences. And so wherever I heard that in English, whenever I heard that, that was the only really true way that I could understand growing up on the Navajo reservation, the 11th child of 12. And that is a place to where, we didn't have material wealth. We had basic needs. We had shelter, clothes, food, and so on. But we never considered ourselves poor, because we were told that if we know our language and our culture and our ceremonies, that is the wealth. Our health is our wealth.
Mm.
So our health is connected to the environment. And how do we have health is our wealth when it's polluted? And it's done deliberately, intentionally, to harm. And so I grew up with that way of waking up early in the morning and running, greeting the Creator, breathing in the Creator's sacred breath, and also taking care of each other's children, giving each other the ride. All these ways of caring and sharing. I didn't even know evil. I never knew evil until I went to work till I was about 36 or 37. I didn't even know what is evil.
Hmm.
I did not know. I was thinking, what is this and what for? What's this? What is it for? I don't get it what it's for. Doesn't make any sense to me. So I suffered a lot in my life for advocating for spiritual wellness in this type of environment, when especially Indigenous people, we're supposed to be civilized we're not civilized, and so on, that we're not, something's wrong with us, and we have to become something that we're not. I just never, I don't know how to do my pretend self, even as I speak every month on this Love Currency Embassy. However it comes out and I word it in English, it's the way I think and live, and it's transparent, and it works for me, but it doesn't work for supporting the system so that the system could support me. And so that's why people are fear-based. So we want to make win-win. We want to learn how. There's a sequencing, why and how, and discern. What is it? Win-win. We have an inherent divinity. We have an inherent sovereignty. That means we're governing by the same natural law equally. And so we have an inherent gift, and we use our gift for our collective survival and all thrive. To me, that makes sense. So it's constructive. It's not destructive and death producing. It's constructive and it's life affirming. And so we want those outcomes. So very simply, how to, that's the charts that we're going to look at as to why we're in this situation and how to just be inspired and motivated to say yes and no appropriately, that our children and people around us can do their part, and we can collectively, even one is telling truth telling, and there's a witness, we're already undoing those thought patterns, those thought patterns. That's a ceremony in itself.
Mm.
That's all it takes, anywhere and everywhere. Just saying and speaking into the etheric network, the web of life, the sound, the vibration, the resonance, the energy, and with the intention, and then the witness, and then it's undone. That's what we're doing every month in this Love Currency Embassy, because what is needed, and I wish that it were at a level, this mass media and mass healing could be at a critical mass. So these patterns, I'm going to just go through them, and then we'll look at the illustrations that I have selected for today. Was there anything else that you wanted to add here about the sign network, how the sign network is designing and attending to this this mega way of living that is not good for us, and how we can not continue that way.
Right. Well, we have these upcoming events that we're doing online. We're using this new medium. All of a sudden, we're all connected from all over the world. And there are many, many people awakening and remembering and realizing we've forgotten these ways. So World Unity Week is coming up June 17th, embraces the solstice that's coming, and continues through the 99 days. And we're doing these missions during this time.
Mm-hmm.
Peace Week. So we've got 99 days of peace through unity, but 99 days of radical collaboration by teaming up. And we're really pulling out the stops. We realize that we've hit some rough waters here, whether it's the war that we're in, World War III, whatever we want to call it, or the situation with the environmental degradation or the social inequities or the political instability. These are causing us to come together, non-state actors. Nation states have been failing us. This way of organizing has reached the point that we need to find a new way. And your guidance and your wisdom and the indigenous ways are something that is so clearly an area that we have been just reckless, insane. Oh my gosh, what did we do? How can we ever really heal from the atrocities? As a Jew, to find out that Hitler was inspired by the way the Native Americans were treated in the reservations here to form
That's right. That's right.
the Holocaust. I mean, we got to tell the truth about this stuff. So we're at a point where clearly we need change, and we're using this medium where we're all connected now to find each other and start to resort out and get clear on what's really going to make a difference. These patterns that we're in need to change. So the fact that we can name the out of balance condition and get at its root cause, begin the process of emptying, and begin the co-creative solution finding we need to do. This is the indigenous ceremonial change process, which you've dedicated your life to helping us articulate as a way forward. And maybe that way forward is really by looking back and remembering what we've forgotten along the way. So I'm right here with you. I'm so grateful to you, Patricia, for the dedication of all these years of saying, hey, there is a way. I'm over here, guys. Pay attention. Pay attention. I'm sitting on the treasure knowledge that's timeless, that belongs to all of us. Thank you for your steadfast dedication and devotion to life on earth and to us as these precious children of Creator. Forgive us for our insanity.
Within creation, in our eternal self, in the eternal now. And how blessed is that? That's the language that I heard as a child. Was not allowed to learn, quote, the Navajo language, the conversational language. People are speaking an esoteric language, Eurocentric, dualistic, inverse thinking with the same consequence.
Mm.
Does that make sense? Speaking these tribal words, but with Eurocentric, dualistic, inverse thinking, because having been recruited to participate in our own demise, believe that we're born a deficient self-image with some external remediation process, some end state, we're never going to be out of the external oppression and internalized oppression, and then depression, which is immobilized and believing that there's no solution. That's where humanity is trapped and entrenched. And they don't know, most people don't know that they don't even know that they're trapped and entrenched.
Yeah, I mean, let's pause right there. That's so important, everybody. We've been swept along. Our whole system is based upon this deficient self-image. That's why you need to smoke. That's why you need a big car. That's why you need some products. Everything reinforces this way of thinking that somehow, maybe, if we meditate enough or study enough, one day we're going to finally get there and then it's all going to be okay. That's exactly what Patricia's talking about. We've been swept along into that. The idea that we are whole and complete and that we can live our life from a totally different starting point, that we're not really a work in progress that's got all these problems, that is finally, maybe with the help of some other force, going to get well. No, we got to wake up to our wholeness, this affirmative thinking system, that we are a precious child of Creator within creation, and we can make good choices that are for the greatest good, for the greatest number of people, that affirm life. That's a totally different way of coming at life. It's radical.
But it's built in because we all have right and left whole brain thinking.
Mm.
We're calling that Eholzen, which is holy thinking. So I'm translating to conscience and moral reasoning.
Conscience. Right?
Conscience. So
Somehow we know what's right and wrong without having to theorize about it. And the idea that we are, you call intrapersonal holiness for interpersonal wholeness.
Yes.
Wouldn't it
Yes.
be different if we could self-regulate ourselves to co-regulate together and actually change
Yes.
ourselves and each other? What kind of world would we make then?
So that's why our ceremony began with intrapersonal, to recalibrate intrapersonal, to remember and reawaken. Oh yeah, I forgot who I am. Make way for me. I'm correcting myself.
Mm.
That's in process. That's not tomorrow, next week, or next millennium, or next epoch, or next age, generation. In the process. And so that is challenging to get across the Western, European American, Western people. Just goes somewhere that it's built within them. And yet there's this materialism that dependent on control and greed. And I have to, because I'm jealous that somebody else has it. You have something I don't have. That is the root, mega cosmic root cause that's not true. That somebody has something that I don't have. We all are a spark of divinity with inherent sovereignty and inherent genius gift. And so it's not true. So people go to war, they kill themselves, kill each other over this jealousy and the empire folly. Then, of course, is historical invasion and genocide of indigenous people, which is mass murder, and then plunder, which is mass theft to take land and resources. And that is still going on right now. That's the empire folly. It doesn't work. So that's acknowledged that it does not work. Why are we saying yes, that we want to accelerate and all the way into AI in terms of intentionally using it to destroy ourselves and others? And right there, I'm just going to say this part. There's a whole conversation to have about it. It's the belief in progress. So that's people thinking they're progress and they're civilized, the more progressive. But us indigenous people in the natural order context, we're primitive and we're behind and we're third world countries and developing countries and all this language. Well, what happens to people that in metaphysics, this is the context of metaphysics, for a whole epoch, a whole age, that souls that choose materialism, when everyone else will at some point evolve, no, I don't want to use the word evolve, ascend. We have opportunity to catapult ourselves and ascend off the earth, which is the this is the school of the laggards. And then these souls will disintegrate with the planet. They're individualized. They're going into robots and machines and Galactic Federation and ETs and thinking that these are highly evolved, civilized beings and intergalactic travel and space exploration and all of that is trying to take humanity into that abyss where they risk that the conflict of interest between spirituality, the collective conscience, not the collective unconscious. And when we say it's conscientious, and I don't use consciousness, because reality is relative to our perception. With consciousness, our reality is relative to perception. And then there's no spiritual morality because it requires conversion and take away and replace. Take away the sacred self and replace it by the deficient self image. And then conscience is reality is exact. That's where we get group consensus, because we know and live and exist in the laws that govern us equally. And then we design the co-creative solutions that are within us to have power with each other, with creator, within creation, and within each other. So that's a part that I just spontaneously included about the consequence of this new boogeyman and scary fear-based people who think that they're gonna save themselves by it. It needs to be used for the greatest good for the greatest number of people. That's the decision that must be discerned. I'll leave it right there, and that's another whole conversation.
Right.
Want to say anything about that?
Yeah, the limits of the possible are changing. The technology we have is unprecedented. And to have that as a guiding principle, that we need to make these kinds of choices now that are for the greatest good of the greatest number of people.
It's just simple as yes or no. Just yes or no.
I know it's a very subtle but profound distinction you're making about conscience versus consciousness, because people talk like they have this thing called consciousness, and we need more consciousness, as if it's some kind of object that we're going to find inside our heads.
And that we're going to raise it and we're going to expand it but it produces perception. So reality is relative to perception. So it requires conversion, take away and replace. And that's take away the sacred self and the sacred meaning. That's what happened to us indigenous. And the lie was that we were going to be civilized and educated.
Right. Oh God, help us. What have we done? So yes, so I want to just name it again. What you're saying here is that that old pattern of seeking progress that reinforces that we're not sufficient is also true if you think consciousness is going to change everything. That's we're all going to wake up. That's all part of our deficient self-image. But if we rely on our moral reasoning and we know right and wrong, that's conscience. And that's a really profound, subtle shift because I, like so many of us, think we need to wake up. But that keeps reaffirming and reinforcing this idea that we're not and that we're deficient and that maybe with the
Mm-hmm,
hope of now AI or whatever, we're finally going to get there one day.
mm-hmm,
That's a pattern that's so insidious and
mm-hmm,
so a part of our everyday life and the way we think about ourselves and the way we talk to each other that it's going to take a revelation
mm-hmm.
to recognize that, wait a minute, maybe that's not the best direction. And if we don't change our direction, we're going to wind up where we're headed. So
Yeah,
that,
because there's no there. We're existing within, and we're eternally existing within the holiness and wholeness. We're here on a temporary basis for 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 our own crisis and conscience. Choose to ascend out of the school of the laggards.
yeah, I was
So
Cosmic Lady said that planet Earth is the place that the souls of the slow learners are sent.
same. It's from metaphysics. That's I'm saying the same things. School of the laggards. So we're here as proof.
That's us.
We're all here as a proof that we denied the oneness in past life. Any
Ah,
past. So this part is review. This is just patterns. These are real patterns. And after that, we'll look at the illustration.
okay.
So I'll move on here. And thank you for emphasizing and articulating. You have a command of English beyond my command of English. Chosen words, hopefully, that don't trigger people in elsewhere over the years, and I change them when I see a need to change the English words that I use. However, these are patterns. There are only two intentions: destructive and death producing. There's constructive and life affirming. Those are only two intentions. There are four out of balance conditions. One, I mentioned, is the denial of oneness. And of course, that is, I always illustrate like this, that above my hand above my head is the belief in mind-body dichotomy. We're outside of and separate from the natural order law that governs us all equally. Mind-body dichotomy and dualistic thinking. So people are trapped and entrenched, and they don't know that they're trapped and entrenched. Indigenous ceremonial change process, the sequencing that, aha, takes it out. So what happens here is that they want it to make what is not real unreal and make what's real unreal. So we're in here in the insanity, and we're bringing all the youth into this insanity right here, like this. So the indigenous ceremonial change process does this as well. And then we know what to say yes and no to that as a humane being, to be doing, learning how to be peacemakers, communicate and relate accordingly, and make those decisions instead of enemy creation and warmongering and warfare. So now the first one, okay, there are four out of balance conditions: denial of oneness, male dominance and female submission. That's what the root cause of animosity and aggression within us and between us. That's where the correction needs to start for the healthy helping teamwork between the female life task as life giver, nurturer, and the male life task as the protector and provider. That takes us out of the inverse of perpetrator, predator, rescuer, and enabler, unhealthy helping, persecutor, and victim. Those are life script. That is what is just so automatic. The pattern is so automatic. People think that they're built into us, and that's, they call it, what do they call it? They call it the, like it, well, I call it normalized pathology, but they just call it like it's, I'll think of it like that's the way it is. The human condition or something like that. And it's not, no, it's socially engineered at a systems level, socially conditioned and programmed at the individual and society, community, society, and governing system level.
So the second out of balance condition has to do with the masculine and the feminine.
Mm-hmm.
How that dominance and submission, that is that the second of the out of balance conditions.
Yes, because that's where the interpersonal starts. We're in this animosity and aggression. The male is male dominant, and then the female is submission. So within the female, and then between the male and the female, within the male is animosity and aggression. I have gone into greater detail with comparing with Carl Jung, where he calls animus and anima. So we have divine feminine. You're a male. You have divine feminine, divine masculine within you. I'm a female. I have divine masculine and divine feminine within me. In the Navajo language, we call that Tuapashana, which every child is born through the water. So that's the life giver, nurturer. And then the male is the protector, provider. We call that Nayet Nezgana, which is that a male life task is to ensure that there's no hunger, poverty, sickness, and premature death. You see how much this
Gets clear.
it's exact.
Right.
To the nth degree. It's just exact. So the third one is the inverse thinking system. I call it Eurocentric dualistic inverse thinking system, meaning that we already covered this. People believe that they're born into a deficient self-image that requires some external remediation process out of their deficient self-image towards some end state of enlightenment, civilization, schooling, personal salvation, and redemption. I might even could possibly put the word evolution in there too, because that's what keeps people stuck in saving face. Well, we're just evolving, we're not there. So that's a word that we can just save face until we annihilate ourselves.
Mm.
So then number 4, these are the 4 out of balance conditions. Dualistic thinking system creates polarizing into adversary conflict. That's the for and against, right and wrong, good and bad. That's a conflict of interest with the art of making distinction. Let's say this is education, this is schooling, this is the humans appointing themselves God to control and manipulate the world resources for their benefit. And then so this is that humans appointing themselves God, and then creator is organic. It's the only word in English, it's organic. For us, it's Nef'yin, which is the Holy Creator's sacred breath that we're existing in or out of the body. So I'll leave it at that and go on to, let me see, 4 choices. There is suicide. There is homicide. There is design and manifest. There is that stuffing and designing and manifesting dis-ease that becomes a medically diagnosed disease. And then we need to learn the true healing process of the indigenous ceremonial change process not the temporary coping mechanisms. So those are 4 choices. Suicide, suicide, pardon?
That's a lot. Okay, let's get 4 choices that we can make. One is
Suicide, homicide,
yeah,
sickness, or
true healing.
deconstruct the root cause. Name the out of balance and deconstruct the root cause by designing safe and supportive environments to empty.
Hmm.
Examine unexamined assumptions and correct our thinking to the affirmative out of the inverse. Remember and who we are, our spiritual identity, our true spiritual identity. So there are 2 addictions: pleasure and inflicting pain upon another. We have plenty of examples that are just horrific, horrendous, egregious, shocking. Number 2, pain. So the more pleasure, the more pain. Oh, bring it on, because I'm going to earn a reward in my afterlife.
Mm.
Even if nobody's punishing me or inflicting pain on me, I'm going to inflict it on myself so I can be it's godly. Suffering is godly. Poverty is godly. Not worthy is godly, and so on. That's inverse. So those are the 2 addictions. Pain, the more pleasure. And they're equally addicted. So I'll move on. I'm going to simplify here in describing the value of the Indigenous ceremonial change process as a decision-making tool. So remember, it's not religion, it's not theory, it's not philosophy, it's not New Age, it's not superstition, it's not, I have a whole list of things that it is not. It is not. It is quantum physics, and it's Indigenous science. It's using the art of making you think. First, what do Indigenous people mean when we use the word original instruction? I think we already covered that. I think that's clear. We're saying greatest good for the greatest number of people is serving in the world for our collective survival, that we may thrive and prosper. Our health is our wellness. Now, last time I used arm wrestling as an example of conquest, of brute force and deception. And I brought out the word wetiko as an Indigenous word for misqualifying spiritual energy for one's own benefit to the exclusion of others. Okay, we covered all this already. And so I think this other part I'll just leave for another time because I'm looking at the time. And I want to have dialogue about these charts and illustrations. I just have them in my file. They're crude, they're handwritten, they're notes. But I need to bring them out into the public and hopefully have them cleaned up and presentable at some point, clearer. So this first one is from the master's degree in whole systems design, where my master's degree in whole systems design, which is the language and techniques of creative pain. And basically the only thing I'm really going to point out is that we're going to compare our house to the what do they call it? Your heating and the heating and
Air conditioning.
Yeah, air conditioning system. That's it has a thermometer there, and so we put it at whatever degrees for cooling. That's just used for heating. We put it like C8 at night or during the day or whatever, 72, whatever setting we put it on. And so there is what is called a negative This is what is so confusing and challenging for me in English terminology. They call it negative reinforcing loop. It is the mechanism in the furnace that keeps the thermostat that keeps the house at a certain degrees, because when the temperature goes lower, then that heat comes on and it goes off when the temperature is at whatever it was set at. So that's called negative reinforcing loop. And then what if someone opens the window? It's winter and someone opens the window, and then that's going to come on more often, and they open more windows and they open all the windows. It's going to keep coming on, and then they're going to open the door, and then all the cold air is coming in, and that furnace and the thermostat can't keep up with turning the heat on. So it's going to break down. So that's the situation of our planet today, because so on the bottom of this illustration is that there is that where it says B and fundamental solution. These are the people that are throwing temper tantrum to have their way. They don't want to participate in collaborating and cooperating. So we don't have a word. There's no word for evil in the California language, because evil doesn't exist. It's the belief in it that creates the symptoms, and the symptoms reinforce the belief. So fear is a call for love, and they cannot coexist. And so in this way, then fear base is that for whatever insane reason that someone is opening the door and all the windows and the coal, and then the furnace breaks down, the positive reinforcing loop is going out of balance. That's what this shows. It shows that we're experiencing the loop is going bigger and bigger and bigger, the whole planet, on climate change, on war, on greed, on politics, on pharmaceuticals. There's like big government, big pharma, and they don't want big business. Big business says they don't want regulations. So all those people that are saying they don't want regulations, they don't want big government, they don't want the governing system to be working in such a way for the well-being of all people. They want to throw their temper tantrum and say it has to be just for us, because that is the free market and it's based on growth. So the more and more and more products, and it's out of balance. So that's how it looks in shifting the burden to the intervener. So then there's all the rescuers and all the enablers who are trying to intervene, and that is the hero savior, the addiction to hero savior, an insidious addiction, hidden and destructive, to unhealthy helping and unhealthy boundaries. So you can just look at this page and see where it says problem in the middle. It doesn't, identify what problem, but I named them as whether they're in climate or health, or even the schooling system now, banning books and historical information about this country, and all the things that we are seeing that we're considering that are out of balance, that are the problem, then there's no relief. It's just shifting the burden to all the rescuers and enablers. Everyone is competing and coming up with their own conversion to take away and replace yours to mine, because otherwise you're an infidel. And if you don't convert to my model, mine is the one true way that works, you're an infidel, and I can kill you and all your land and your resources. So all this language that I'm saying is just crazy making. And so that's what that is showing us. Is there anything that you want to say? Is it clear from what I'm saying to illustrate how we already know we're unbalanced? This is to show you that the establishment all the way to a PhD, to the Western body of knowledge, this is what we're operating on in the English language and all of the domains that I mentioned, is that everyone is caught up in this. Well, let's open up the windows and open up the door, and everybody's running to the rescue, and nobody is really paying attention to what I'm getting across, that it's a faulty foundation. What is faulty foundation? Representational government is faulty foundation because it's power over of the aristocracy and the elite by majority vote. So it's still power, and it's still being implemented in imperialism by going to other countries and stealing their land and resources. So I hope I got it across. I'm
Yes.
talking as fast as I can to show that people are, this is what we're valuing and cherishing and perpetuating. And this is, quote, the system.
Mm.
And so we're the rescuers and enablers coming with unhealthy helping to say, I have the plan, I have the answer, I have the theory, I have the philosophy, I have the religion, I have the belief, I have, and you have to convert, and it's competing.
Should we show the second
Yeah.
diagram? Okay, hold on.
So what I did was put it into the chart that I use. So it's the same. I took it from whole systems design, systems theory, language, jargon, and put it into the chart that I use, which is the triangle going up, which is win, the triangle going down, which is lose. And the bottom of the triangle going up is where there's adversary, perpetual, people perpetually are into polarizing into adversary and conflict and warfare. And it's called automatic regulation. So if we pit ourselves, if we do enemy creation and pit ourselves against each other and say that we're defending liberty and freedom, that liberty and freedom is to go out of balance as narcissistic and hedonistic and free for all, and the end justifies the means, like they say in Freemasons, or other secret societies in which they teach how to rig the system in such a way for their own benefit, while they're saying that they're there for other people's security and well-being. So you see what we can go to the next one too, but you see how I put complexity and chaos theory. You know, I had to learn all those things.
Right.
For 3 years, I had to do double time, triple time, complexity and chaos theory. Oh, and then let me say this, because what is his name? Ralph Stacey, I think, is his book Bounded Chaos. Over here where you see the dollar sign, that's what they're calling stability. So when they say we're going to be a sustainable economy, we're going to sustainability, that's the word. They consider sustainability stability. Look at this thing. You looked at the other one. Now look at this one. You know, I just translated to triangle. and they're calling it stability. And the automatic regulation is to pit one against the other in competition. And then at the very bottom is suicide, where you corner the mind, corner a person, that there's no a belief that there's no solution. They're calling that the positive feedback loop. That's where it goes so out of balance that it just goes into all the addictions. Unstable. Listen to that. It's upside down, inside out, backwards English to me. Unstable equilibrium. So explosive instability, out of control, that's addiction, that's war. Just go, what do they call it? Unilateral strike. And then they call it defend, and then they attack, and then they retaliate, and then they revenge and attack, retaliate for generations and centuries. So it's just about control and manipulation mechanism, which is racism. Have anything to say about that, or we can go on to the next one? Is it self-evident or?
Yeah, no, it's self-evident.
Okay.
Let's share the next one here. All right, I think it's this. The third one is that one.
Yeah, look at the date on that one. That is so old. It's so tattered. 1992. I mean, I'm working in the system. I'm writing grants for millions of dollars doing the traditional treatment for diabetes. And I'm also writing the traditional treatment for drug and alcohol and other drug addictions. And nobody hears me, nobody understands me, even speaking it in the Dineh Bazad in the office, because everyone there is acculturated to Eurocentric dualistic inverse thinking, and also converted to the deficient self-image conversion. And so the 12 step starts with claiming to be deficient self-image. This is the affirmative. I used to say to them, we don't have stairs in our ceremonial our ceremonial home structure. There's no stairs. You don't get on the wagon, fall off the wagon. You don't climb up the stairs and fall down the stairs. And you don't have number 12, that after you go through 12 steps and then you attain some idea of spirituality. You see how what I'm describing is so twisted between inverse and affirmative? I used to say, my dad said, stay close to Mother Earth, stay close to your relatives, stay close to creators, stay close to your ceremony, stay close to your songs, stay close to your, stay close to the fireplace, take care of the water in your home. The most important thing before you move in is you take in the water, you light the fire, and then you bless the place before you even move in. And wherever you move, that's the number one main rule. And so this one is this is clockwise from sunrise on the top of the page to south on the right side, to west on the bottom of the page, and north on the left side. But it's flat on the earth. So our 4 directions is on the earth. So those 4, they don't form a cross, but you see the male and the female there. And so that's the divine feminine, divine masculine. So we don't have such thing as pairs of opposite. There's no such concept of word or pairs of opposite, or even mental illness. There's symptoms based on the belief, but there's no terminology for it. There's only words for twisted thinking and devouring and vampiring. Twisted thinking is digis, and then devouring and vampiring others and resources and their life energy, their life force, their food, everything. That's wetico, but we call it chidi. And the other one is hocho. Hocho is the inverse thinking of win lose is no win for everyone, destructive and death producing, and for those outcomes. And so, what does it say? From birth all the way around, and long life and happiness and good health and joyful living and so on. I'm going to make it all the way around from child to youth to elder to grandparent, like that. I want to travel. Following the four corn pollens footstep from child to youth to elder, adult to grandparent and elder. And then Tadadin Atin, which is the pathway, the road of Tadadin is corn pollen. It's fertility, it's procreation, it's food, it's the corn stalk, the corn, the roots, the rootedness, the stalk is our character, our backbone, and the corn pollen is our spiritual, it's our prayerful way of life, walking on that prayerful way of life. Tadadin Atin, and then Tadadin Natinkin is the teaching that is placed and goes with it. We don't rearrange the clock or the season. This is not abstract symbol. We're living it. We're in it. Nobody can be outside of or separate from it. We're not exempt. We don't say I'm not participating in the spring and time and direction and spring, summer, fall, winter. Who can say that? I'm born and I exist outside of and separate from it. So I can destroy it for my own purposes. So I can benefit from it. Like that. I'm just giving you an example of how it is on the reservation that we just, so much humor. We just talk upside down, inside out, backwards, and we play with this English like, what are they saying? You know, what does this mean? You know, what is it?
Yeah. But Patricia, I want to ask you about this because I think what if I get what you're saying here, and this is such a good illustration of the dilemma. Because at first, when I would see something like this, you immediately start to rank it as if 12 is better than 1, as if, again, this inverse thinking system that somehow I'm eventually going to achieve. But what you're saying, no, it's not that way. And that the 4 directions, and this is the path that we're on. It isn't a matter of us working towards achieving this. This is going to happen. This is just
Exactly.
life is. And the
Yes.
facticity of life, born as a child, moved to being youth, to becoming a parent, to becoming a grandparent. And yet it's so easy for us to think, oh, I want to get to number 12 and see myself as a precious child. You know, it's just that's the pattern in, and not realizing that these are just, this is part of what's our natural order.
So you were listening and watching you describe a reframe.
Mm, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the core competency is, all of us being able to say, wow, I didn't realize, now I see what I didn't see before.
That's
So,
what I can't get across to anybody. And well, very, very, very few people. But that's like repeating things over and over and over until at some point. And so the last 2 times I showed another chart that showed how to get out of addiction. So I could have brought that one today too, but I thought three is enough. But I showed the other one that shows where a person starts from the east as a child with non-use of alcohol and drugs, and including revenge and opioids and over-the-counter, under-the-counter, designer controlled, illegal, and all of that gobbledygook.
mm,
And then they start off, and then there's experimentation. The first quadrant is experimentation. Then they pass through the legal age, which is social youth. And then there's tolerance built there. It takes more of the same. It takes more to get the same effect as tolerance built up in the body. And then at the bottom of the chart, that's where addiction happens. That's loss of choice. So that's obsessive. Let's see. Excessive, obsessive, compulsive, and loss of choice. And then there's death, dying. So there isn't a you like going to the bottom, hitting bottom, and coming back up bottom. In the middle is always the available to us for our inherent divinity and sovereignty and life gifts to acknowledge and to affirm that. And coming out of that's the intervention for experimentation, the intervention for social youth, the intervention for tolerance and addiction. And then the fourth quadrant is wellness restoration. If you make it through tolerance and addiction, you don't have to. That's the whole reason why the Nefazad is given an oral tradition from one generation to the next, because they said that they don't want people to get lost. Do you hear that?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And so everyone has access to their own intuition. It's not me, I'm the only one I have intuition. Everyone has intuition. We can intuit it. We don't say, I think, I feel. We say, I know. Because our body doesn't lie. I know this is what I know. And we follow what I know. Be good, beautiful, and true for myself and others. Because otherwise, if I hurt myself, I'm hurting those around me. Those around me hurt me, they're hurting themselves. Because they're the creator of it. And so that's the power in it. What is that power? It's truth. It's our only real power. And then it's our protection. And so that's why become being a truth teller is like we're persecuting other people and they want to discredit and attack. That's where it's coming from, is their own denial. And also the real emphasis here is the evil is created by someone, and it just got infectious and it just took over the whole planet of throwing temper tantrum. I have to insist that I have to win and I have to benefit and I have to get my way. And that is not how we're constructed. That's America valuing individualism. And it doesn't exist in nature. Everything is interconnected, interrelated. And we value the individual within the whole. And now we're getting close to the top of the hour.
Yeah.
So that's really in depth.
Wow.
And we could spend, not today. My whole goal is when I finally get enough small core group of people to get it, the whole picture, the whole systems design. We're immersed in design failure, and we need to collaborate and cooperate on designing co-created solutions. Then we can talk about individual situations. I could point out right now that we all can see what I've said happening. And Trump, they're throwing temper tantrum. and we're dealing with the consequence. We're in that miracle canoe, and we want to live and survive and get to our destination, which is that we harvest our life and our soul mission to serve in the world with our genius gift.
Wow, Patricia, thank you so much. There's so much here. You know, we're learning how to learn. This seems to me to be our biggest challenge right now. Identifying these patterns and realizing how we get out of this bind.
Yeah, and right now we've got the people, they're calling themselves, they're a republic or Republicans, who came to this country and said, steal everything from the Indians and do whatever you want, lie, cheat, and steal. And that's free market. That's capitalism. And that's real estate,
Uh,
property. They call it, when I hear them talk about our founding fathers, Constitution, and this black ink on white paper, and then saying, oh, well, I'm an American, I love America, and yet, but I'm going to take away Medicare and Medicaid and food stamps and Social Security and their entitlements, and they don't, that's communism and socialism. Getting cross-eyed just saying those words. That's what the news is every day, is like fear of our survival, that it's not existential anymore. Apocalyptic fears that are existential. Well, love is a call. Fear is a call for love. So unless we actually say yes, that we're a conduit, then we're inspiring and motivating others accordingly to be humane beings and to learn peacemaking. That's how I understand. So it's not an event. It's a life. It's a way of life. When I say Georgia, it was my dad's brother's wife, Aunt Faye. When my brother asked her, "What does Georgia really mean? What does it mean?" You know, people always, they would say blessing way, and then another medicine person said, "No, in English you say blessed way." Okay, and then but her Aunt Faye, she said, just no hesitation out of her mouth, she said, living the loving way is a way of life.
Living the loving way as a way of life.
Yes.
I mean, it brings me to prayer. This idea that fear is a call to love, and that living that loving way, maybe there isn't anything else we really need to know. You know, we started the compassion games, the survival of the kindest.
Yes, exactly. And compassion.
We know that love and compassion. We know the incredible difference that could make. This is the strength that I think we all need to be able to push back on that fear, to accept that that's part of the story, and yet to live that loving way by choice. It's a privilege and an honor to be able to share your wisdom with the world, Patricia.
So the first things first, unless we actually acknowledge that our body constitution is of the earth, water, fire, and air, and that we're existing within the earth, water, fire, and air, and then we know we must take care of and stay in balance and harmony in our body and in the environment. We must take care of it so it can take care of us. And then we know what to say yes and no. Then if we say, well, if we deny that, and then we just pile up, well, I believe in this and that theory and that philosophy and this religion, and that's the way to go, and this model, and then we're in pseudo community. That's what the outcome is chaos. That's coming from M. Scott Peck. Read the book, A Different Drum.
Right. Yeah, pseudo community. Well, we know that we have Facebook friends and communities, and lost touch with what's really real. And Just like the seasons, like you can't choose to say, well, I'm not going to be part of spring this year.
Mhm.
There's no way out.
Amen.
Same thing, that genius. Remember when you said to me, well, can you name a religion that can get the sun to come up other than in the east? That insight that there is a
Mm.
natural order, that there is an indigenous ceremonial change process, which is part of the natural order of things, for all of us to learn how to get good at naming the out of balance condition. You've given us four different expressions of that, whether it's the denial of oneness or the male dominance. I mean,
Mm.
you're teaching something that isn't another theory. It isn't something to believe. It isn't Native American religion. This belongs to all of us. This is the natural order. That's why I've been so emphatic in encouraging people to calm ourselves down and listen. We're at this moment.
Yeah, and then people want to. There's so much more to say, but I'll just leave it at this. And then people they want to start the directions from the west or the north, and they want to go from north to south and east to west and north to south. So they want to make the sign of the cross
Mm.
over Mother Earth. And our humor story from our tribal living on the reservation is that they said, what does this mean? You know, the Pope is doing this. They said, means take your teepee down and all of you leave.
Gosh, may it be so. All right, you're right. It's
Okay,
an hour.
all right.
Patricia, this is amazing. Everybody, share this. Let it be known that miracles happen, that we're on this journey moving between worlds, from a world no longer to a world not yet. Lots of room in this magic canoe. Everybody's welcome here to serve our journey home. Thank you so much for this incredible session here in the Love Currency Embassy. Bye for now. Okay, I stopped the live stream. That was amazing.
For me, it's just like to approach it, to get where is it over, around, through, under, in between. How do I, every which way, what kind of words, what kind of illustration, how do I get this across? How can I meet the mass media for mass healing? How is it oh, then we can have group consent. Then we can say, let's collaborate, let's cooperate, and I initially so many years ago called it Empathic Coalition, and I sent you a chart that shows the pathway out, and it shows that people are linking, but there needs to be a master organizer to link people, but the people would have to agree to link in such a way that they're bringing someone through the process out of the inverse thinking system into this indigenous ceremonial change process decision making, and then the reframe. But no, people want to stay in like millions of little triangles with I win and you lose, winner take all.
All right, Patricia.
Bye.
Wait, don't go yet. So listen, we're doing this, we're using this platform called Mighty Network.
Called what?
It's called, okay, Peace Through Unity.
Uh-huh.
I want to try to get you there. It doesn't cost anything, but I want you to take a minute. Let me see what happens.
You know what? I tried to register and they wanted like $75 or something like that or
Oh,
$25 for elder or student or something like that.
nothing like that here. This is all free. Hold on. So let me put this. Is it better to send you an email? Or put it in the chat? Here, let me put it in the chat. What happens if you click on that? I'm going to send you an email too, because this
Well,
is
it's there.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's there.
Can you click on that link? I'm putting this to that new Gmail you have, the Kohani. Okay, Mighty Network link. I'm calling this here. Hold on. I want you to get on this network because this is where we're organizing here. So hold on. All right. So what happened? Did you click on that link in the chat, in the Zoom chat?
Let me just see if I can, let me see. Oh, what am I gonna do here?
What
I
happened?
was gonna copy and paste it, but if
Well,
I
I
click,
emailed it to you. I emailed it to you.
okay, so if I click on it, okay, open link. All right, go somewhere.
Right. Where's it go? Let's get you there.
Welcome to Peace Through Unity.
Right. So you want
99 days in service to thriving world for all of life. Join or explore.
to join.
Okay, it's opening it up and asking for my all
Email.
my information.
Okay, give it to him. Trust him. This is good.
And it says create account. It's going it's going to Hotmail. Hotmail is opening up. I paid for added storage, was the only way I could open up, but then it doesn't let me attach any documents.
Okay.
So I wonder if I should use
Use
the,
the other address if it's better, the Gmail address. Can you change it or is it too late?
yeah, I can change it.
Change it.
Child of All Nations Indigenous Institute at email.
Right.
Make sure that's right. Okay, create account.
Right. Do that.
But then it has do I need to put the password or what is all those dots
Can I
there?
ask you? Okay. You want to share your screen so I can see it with you? Or
Yeah. Let me
go back to Zoom. You can share screen.
yeah.
So if you click that green arrow, share screen, just share your desktop. It's okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, it's not showing.
Okay. Yeah, there's a window with it open.
What is it showing? Nothing.
I'm seeing the Zoom window, launch meeting.
Oh, not that one.
It's okay. We'll find it.
Not that one. Where did it go?
Okay. Try clicking on that Chrome thing down there. Yeah, click there. What is that?
Going to the
All
link.
right. There's a window with it open in.
There is. I opened it on that window and I
So we're gonna find.
oh, let's see. Wait, let's see.
Yeah, what's that? Click on that.
It's our Zoom right now.
Okay.
Oh,
Then go back to the email I sent you, the other email. Go to the Gmail account you have. We'll follow that link again. All right, Mighty Network right there. Open that email and click on that link again. Let's see what happens. All right, welcome to Peace to Unity. Okay, join. All right, go ahead, fill this out. Don't use the Hotmail, use the other account.
now I'm gonna put
It's not there, it's that other field. It's
yeah,
down.
but I need to put this in there
Okay,
just because there's too many Patricians.
gotcha.
Yeah, this is
Yep, good. Okay, now you're going to create a password. It's down below there.
uh-huh.
Click
So
on
what password is that?
whatever one you're going to use one. Make one up right there.
I have to make one up right now. Okay.
The one that you won't forget.
Um
right, they say that's good. So now create account. See the little red button there underneath? No, yeah, that one. Create account. Click on that.
Um,
Don't worry about that little box there.
let me make sure, let me do it again because I want to make sure what I capitalize.
Okay. That little thing
Okay.
to the right where there's like an eye with you can see what's there. If you click on you see to the
Okay.
right. Yeah, okay, create that account. Good. All right. Save that in the upper right where there's like that other window. Don't skip that. Save that. Yeah, save. No, right there. Yeah, save that. Now you'll be able to get there again. Okay. No, say yes. Say yes to where it's asking you. Say yes there. Yeah. Okay. So put in your Google password. Yeah. You go to Gmail. Not the one you just used. This is the one for your Gmail password for your email. It's not the one you just used for Mighty Network. This is the one that Google wants for your. And if you don't remember,
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
For my Gmail.
Yes, right. That's the one they want here for you.
Okay.
The one you just made up. Okay. Good. That's working. All right. Say hello. Hit say hello. All right. So you're in here. You're talking to me, World Unity Week. Okay. Okay. But
Okay, so we switched. What happened now?
all right, you're in. You're in the Mighty Network. So let me say hi to you. Okay, I'm going to show you how it's going to work. Good. We've made some progress here. Hang in there. So, and because this is where I think, do some more good work to promote you. Let me see if I can find you here now. You just signed up. Okay. Patricia Ann Davis, there you are.
I'm still in the wagon and horses, and everybody's on that
Ah,
jet,
all right. This is the thing
super
I
jet.
always tell you. This is the thing I
You're
always.
all on the super jet, and I'm still on the wagon and the horse.
All right. You're going to get a little notice. Somebody just said hi to you. Hold on. I see you. All right. Hold on. Ah, there's a Patricia Ann died. Did I say not to Patricia Ann Davis? Hold on. That's so funny. Oh my God. I just tell this woman I love you. Who's Patricia Ann Die?
What?
There's another Patricia here. God.
Like D what?
DYE. Okay, hold on.
DYE. Oh dear.
No, I didn't. Okay, I didn't say anything to her. But I said something to you. Now, how come you didn't get a notice from me?
Because it's not showing. Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, hold on. Good, I said the right thing to you. Yeah, okay. Click that little X in the upper right, all the way on the top. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So you're here now. I'm here now. So there's there's like a little checklist it's giving you to introduce yourself. Don't worry about that for now.
Okay.
But go up to where it says search peace through unity. Yeah. And type my name, Jon. Let's see if I show up. Jon. Yeah.
Wait.
Do a space. There's John Raymer, host. You see that?
Yes, I see. Yes.
So follow me. Click on follow. And then those little three dots to the right of following, click there and do chat. So send me a message.
Oh wow. Gee, wow.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness. Wha-
That you or me?
What is that?
That was a message to me. I was doing something.
You know,
I
when my message arrives, it made that sound.
Wait, hold on. There, that's the message of arriving. Hold on. Hang on.
That is really,
Hold on. Hold on. All right.
how in the world can you have a personal life with, I would be just,
Hang in there.
I'm so slow,
No, you're not slow. I did not say slow.
or this computer is slow.
All right, hold on. All right, Patricia Ann Davis. I'm following you. I'll be leaving for, okay. Now I'm going to send you a response. It's good to see you here. All right. So there's more here than we're going to get into now because I got it. But you're going to get a notice. I just wrote back to you.
Yeah, it showed up here.
Right. That's right. That's right. This is the chat part of this. But hit the X in the upper right. So to close this, there's a little X. Yeah. Now look on the left. You see there's like a navigation window all the way on the left. Feed, discover.
Yeah, yes,
You see the 99 days?
yes.
Then click on World Unity Week on the left there. Those are called different spaces. So when you click on,
Okay, so this is a different network than Sign.
well, Sign is we built this. We're building this collaboratively. You can see who's working on this. There's a lot of good people, Ben Bowler and Kurt Johnson and all the folks we've been working with. If you click on missions there, 2023 on the left, and what happens, these are different, they call them spaces. So do you see on the top there, it says overview, news,
Yeah,
mission tags. And we definitely want you to be a part of what we're doing over this 99 days. And we're envisioning to propel a new Earth rising. If you read what I wrote there, you'll see to get a feel for it. So World Unity Week, the missions, and then Peace Week. That's what's happening starting June 17th. And you'll be back in order to be on that session with Ben and myself, right?
well, I think it's with Chief Perry and someone else.
Okay, whoever it is, it's perfect. I've totally been
I don't
encouraged.
know I don't see where he put me with you.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Click on the mission plans right there, right up above where you are. Yeah, click on that. And then you could see there's lots of these missions showing up there. There's a vision, the radical, co-informing. Each of those are different articles. Urgent call to all women, war stops now. There's some good stuff here. Some good people that I want you to get to know that already know of your work. So this is just a little tour into the mighty network. But now that you're here, it's going to be a place we'll come back to, I'm sure. All right. I'd love you to add a picture. Do you see in the upper right, there's like a little circle around all the way in the right, all the way in the upper right. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Uh-huh.
So click on that. That's your stuff. Then you could click on your
Oh,
profile, view your profile. Right. You can click right there. And you can, if you click on that picture that's there, yeah, I think there you can change this, can't you? Is there some way? Original image. Okay. Well, click the X in the upper right. We'll change this.
the upper right?
Not there. There's an X below. To the right. Yeah, down below a little bit. Maybe the zoom in the way. Okay. Then you click edit on the top there. Yeah. So about me, a little bio. You could put scroll down here, and you see like, oh, the picture on the top, like, where there's a little pencil right on top of the picture now. It
I
lets you,
see. Yeah, I see that.
yeah, click on that pencil. Yeah, do you have a photo easy on your computer to get to?
Um, Let's see.
Pictures.
Oh, there's pictures. See, I have all kind of glitches over here. That's just,
Oh, I wish I was there to help you.
I'm like in a quagmire with,
Hold on. You want me to find a picture of you can use?
well, the one on, I like the one from when we did the real sign concert or event. But I don't have it available, just.
All right. Let me see if I can change it for you. Make it easy. All right. Or here, let me email this to you.
Oh, I don't know where to look. Took me
Yeah.
a
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
take me a long time to find to.
Yeah. No, let's not do it. It's okay. So hit cancel there so you get rid of that box to the right there, or the X up above. Yeah, on that other window, the one that has your folders. Yeah, hit that X up there. That's good. That or cancel will work.
I don't know. I don't see where there's an X there.
Yeah, you were mousing over it. You touch it there. That red. There you go. Okay, hit save there. To the right there. There's a little, maybe hard to see.
Save is where? See,
Yeah,
there's a picture on Google right there.
yeah.
But I don't know how I could get it over here, but anyway.
Don't worry. Don't worry. Here, let me. Okay, don't worry about this. Don't worry about this. I just want you to. There's an X right there where your cursor is, right by you. There's a zoom window in the way there. Yeah, click that. Click that. Okay, that's fine. There you go. And let me see if I can sign in and help from this end. Don't know if it.
Oh, that's cool. The only person that I know that knows how to do this is my son, Monty.
Yes. So, okay, I guess I cannot change this for you, which is probably good. All right, I'm not worried about it for now. That was a great session. I gotta go because I'm
Yeah.
do some things I'm behind on.
Yeah.
Thank you, dear Patricia. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next
Yeah.
time.
All right.
Thank you.
Be in touch.
Thank you. Yes.
Bye for now.